from Netherlands. All right, how are you? Thank you very much for being here with us. So Anne, are you also a design student, product transportation, or are you just curious? Anyway, for those that are new, you can subscribe to my channel. That would be the best present you can give to me, or just put a simple like to the video so that we can push really strong this video live. Okay, so now it's 18 p.m. so it's the time to start. So I don't worry, I will read your comments and your chat. I have just displayed in front of my face, in front of my nose, so I can see them. So, and just in case you want to tell me, also Utkarsh, same thing, from India. Tell me where you from, which school are you from, so that I can get an idea, okay, and maybe help you better. All right, so what we're gonna do today, we're gonna do a step-by-step kind of sort of lesson, and we're gonna do it in a way that you can understand from the basics. So that's exactly what I do when I start my online course with my students. Okay, by the way, if you're interested, it's very simple. Tell me in your chat if you are interested in my online course. I'll give you all the information. I will tell you, I will tell you how to get in contact with me via email, and then via email I will answer to your mail to explain to you how it works. All right, so today what we're gonna do, we're gonna work car sketching, but we're gonna be drawing into a box. We will start like that. So that's a product design student at Amsterdam University. All right, that's great. Well, then you know what, and this is very good for you, because when we draw cars in a box, it's just like when we do products. And after I will sketch a product for you, okay? So that you can check this technique. Maybe you're already using this at university. Okay, so basically, when we do a side view in a box, I put the ground line here. Okay, remember, I draw very, very light at the beginning, always. And then by working on my sketch, I will start making some line drawing, some line quality, applying contrast and shading, and then all those lines, very light, that I use as construction lines, you will not see them anymore, so don't worry. So let's say that I have this type of box, like that. And then I have another one that is going to be more or less like this. And then, of course, I need some wheels on this car. So I will put one wheel here. Now the wheel is going to be a circle, no? Inside view. So I'll just make square. I'll just draw a square. And another one, I'll draw it here. Same size, you see? Okay, so now we have our box. Well, it's nothing complicated. It's also in side view, so very, very easy to do. There's no perspective yet. And now we're gonna start trying to use our creativity to transform this box into a car. So that's the objective. So let's see. First of all, I work my body. And then in this area, I know that I have my cabin, okay? So I have one windshield, the top, the back. So let's put a windshield and a back window. Now, as you can see, I am starting to model with few sections this car. And here, because I like the back to be always a little bit higher than the front, because it's more dynamic, it shows that the car is really going forward. I will take my belt line, you see, I make a line that is going this way, you see, pinching down. So when I come here and I pick up that little line there, I can also pick up this one that I like to make a sort of, you know, back. This is my back. A little bit for the bumper. So you see that now we already have a car shape. Now it's not the final design, there is a lot to do, but I already have two important things. The main typology of car and its proportions. So now let's go and put the wheels. Now you know that when we have wheels, you know, it's a circle. Now with the right proportions, this wheel is a little bit small, as you can see. So I will make them a little bit bigger, okay? Both of them. So let's go here and let's make it bigger. This one too. And I move it a little bit backward. You see? Here, what I did, I push it a little bit backward. In fact, it's from here to here now. So this is the main shape. But at the same time, we don't have to forget that this car, in this view, it is a one-point perspective. Because that's a lot of people forget that, or probably they don't know. It is a one-point perspective. So the one point is there, and all the lines, you see, go over here. So how this is going to be represented on our sketch? Very simple. The wheels that I made, they will be in perspective. And therefore, I can see also the two wheels that are on the other side, in perspective. Now, look, I take this little nice car, okay? You can see the white in the back. Wait. Now, this is a one-point perspective. Do you see the other wheels here? Those are those wheels in the other side. You see? And we can see them. And we can see also a little bit of the black here, which is all this surface in perspective. Look, I show you again. You see? And that's exactly what I'm going to sketch now. So be careful. I put another line there. So you see first line, second line. Then I put the car wheel on the other side. It's this one and this one. Then this is the perspective line. This is the perspective line. So this is the ground, but I need also the shadow of the car on the ground. So it's from this point to this point. All this surface will be onto the ground in shadow. It's a cast shadow. So I'm going to put another line there. And we will have also a little bit of cast shadow in perspective from the front overhang and the back overhang. Because there is this part and this part, it's a mass. Light is coming from here, and therefore we do have that cast shadow. So I just make a prolongation of this line. There you go. And now I do the same thing here. Like that. And one thing very interesting that not many people do, but I always do on my sketches, is that right there you have a little bit of that tire, because the shadow, the cast shadow, it's under the car. So because it is under the car, the wheels looks like they're popping out. And there are a lot of people don't do that. And that in this detail, this little detail, gives you a very three-dimensional feeling of the sketch. Okay, so let's start applying a little bit of shading so that I really know what I have, okay? So look at me. Look what I do. I make all this dark, because this is in shadow, there is no light underneath. So this is all in black shadow. Then I have also here, because that's the shadow of the back front overhang, and I also have it here because that's the shadow of the front overhang, as we said before. And now let's make this shadow, which is the central part of the body of the car, that is onto the ground but in perspective. Now, if you see, now look at this. Do you have the feeling of the perspective now? Let me know. Can you see that the car is in perspective? Because that's the interesting thing, you know, is that as you put that shadow using the one-point perspective, immediately you have the feeling that your sketch is in perspective, even if it is just a side view. All right, so now what's going to happen on the top? Well, look at those lines. They are telling something. So I have a, let's take again this car, this little model. So my perspective is this one. Can you see that I can see a little bit of the structure and a little bit of the top of the car because of the perspective? We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna try, okay? So now I have my belt line, and now it's the moment I have to go and apply a little bit of line quality to my sketch so that I can feel the shape and the proportion, the volume. And this part here is the part in perspective, the interior part. So if I have here my B pillar, okay, that is more or less like that, I will have that B pillar here. You see now the perspective is even stronger. The feeling of that perspective, it's even stronger. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So now I clean up a little bit lines. And I will do the same thing on the front, but first I need to make a new point. All right, so okay, so now that I have this, I can start thinking a little bit to how my body is gonna be in the lower part. And because this is a big, the size is not small. So what I want to do, I want to create a little bit of section so that I can pick up the light on the side of the car. So I go from this level here. And here maybe I bring this a little bit higher so that the two things go together, you see, in terms of levels. Then I have that line that is my reference, this one, and then I can just do that. And then here I can just put a line that becomes like a bone line. It's one of those lines where you have the change of reflection that gives a nice shoulder to the top area that makes the car and the sketch really look stronger, like a strong car. Bold, a little bit bold. Okay, so I apply a little bit of shading here too. And also in the lower part. Now, the central part here, I will be a little bit stronger because now I have to start thinking about the shading, the way I blend the volume, So in this area, I go a little bit darker in the center, and then on the sides I go a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter. So now let's put the cut line. And also here. You can put those really flash handles. And wait just a second. I have to answer to a message, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's keep. Ciao, Jacob. How are you? Such a long time. And here I'm gonna just apply my, my reflection on the glass. Okay, so now what is left to do, what we still have to do so that we can complete this? I'm good, hope you are doing well. Yes, I'm doing well, thank you. I'm on vacation, so that's why I have more time to make my, to make my lives and make a little bit more videos on my channel. I take advantage that I'm on vacation, easy. So a little bit of wheel well there, so we get better proportions of the whole thing. And the same thing we do here. All right, so the last thing that we have to do now is how we're going to make those wheels if everything is in perspective, knowing that this is the perspective point right there. Well, if our wheel rim design is flat, the center will stay here, right there. And we can just apply our graphics, kind of easy. But if this wheel design is a little bit negative, then that center will move toward the center of the car, both of them. So let's make it negative so that we can amplify this feeling of three-dimensional, three-dimensional car. So now, if I do again my you see that's the old section, flat. Now I resketch the section. So the section is like this. So the center is here. Same thing here. Center, the new center is there. So now it's according to this center that we have to remake, that we have to remake our design of the wheel. So I will say that we do the classical, thing like that. I make those sort of triangles. And then I make one here and one here and one here, and here we make just small ones. Now I apply a little bit of shading because there is a shadow there. You see? And now we have our wheel. I repeat the same operation on the other side, you know. And we apply also here a little bit of shading because there is some shadow there. Okay, and here we have our sketch. So, what do you think? This is just, you know, remember, we started from that box, with the canopy box, the square for our wheels, and now that we went through the whole process, you can see that here we are with the car, in perspective, inside view. Proportional, pretty good, not bad, you know. As I said at the beginning, all the construction lines, you don't see them anymore, but they are there. I can show you. Look, I come closer. You see all the lines? They're all there. But because of the shading, you see? Because of the shading and the contrast, we don't see them anymore. So you don't have to redo 1,000 times on sketch because there is a line that went wrong. You don't care. I mean, if you are careful enough, you can make a nice sketch from the beginning until the end on the same sketch you started on the paper. Okay, so this is the first one. So now if you want to offer me a coffee, that would be I'll be very grateful. So you can always hit the thanks button here on YouTube to offer me a coffee or a beer. Why not? Maybe a beer, because it's better. It's fresh. Because it's very hot today. Okay, so now we're gonna make another one. I don't know if Anne is still with us, but I'll make a product. Okay, I will show you the same technique how we can make very easily a product. Okay, so the car for the moment. Wait, first of all, we have to sign, always. So today it's 8/25 during our live. That's great. Okay. So now let's make a product. We're going to use in perspective. Okay, this time we're going to make a more complex perspective. It's the best way to make a product. So let's say that my box this time is something like this. All right, so you can see, of course, I draw very light, it's normal, but you can see that my way that I search for a ruler, because what I want to mention before I start making this product is that we always had to follow perspective, you see? That's very important, that you have always this in mind. So we are going to have in our head this type of perspective, 2-point perspective, okay? And then the last one is this one, that is going to be a little bit more like that. Okay, then we have the straight lines here. straight lines there, straight line there. Okay, so this is our box. Now what can we do with this? Well, we can do many things, but first of all, what type of product we can make? Well, we can make a box, make a cut line there, with a few details, and we can say that this is the cover, that it's opening, you know, but that's too easy. So let's make something that is a little bit more complex. Okay, let's see. First of all, center line, always following my perspective, okay? Center line here, always following perspective. So I'm thinking, let's say that I want to break this, okay? So I have this point, following perspective, it's from here to here. Okay, let's do it. So my center line changes. It's gonna be this one now. You see? And we are already applying the first modification. Then from here I go there, and from here I go there. And then I do the same thing down here and here, because what I have in mind is to create a sort of a little step here. You see, now we have a step. We can even imagine to do more like that, make a correction. All right, so we already have a different shape. Now, what object could it be, this one? Let's say, let's keep on sketching. Let's see what happens. Still don't know. I have an idea, but so if from here I go there, I can cut here. Yeah, I can cut there. So now I have my sort of a silhouette of my object. So I am still here. My telephone that sometimes so now we have this shape. I think that we could imagine that here I have a sort of a circle. And we can have a section here that goes inside. So now this could be, I don't know if you agree, but it could be a pencil sharpener. You know, I put my pencil there, and then this part is the, you know, the part where all the particles go in. So we need a cut line there. I'm gonna do it this way. Here and here. And another thing that I will do, this part, for me, should be transparent. It's like a transparent plexiglass, you know? So, let's make it transparent. Okay, so now that we did that, let's apply some shading so that we can start seeing this object, you know, in three-dimensional with a three-dimensional feeling that is much stronger than before, than now. So this part, of course, is going to be really dark. Now, the light is coming from here, okay? Therefore, this part is in shadow. So we're going to have 1, 2, and 3 type of shading surfaces, okay? That's very important to remember. So I will do the light one, which is this one. That's the first one. Now, this one for the moment, I will leave it just white because it's really picking up the light right in front, right in the face, you know. That's why. But this part down here, it will be the real color of the object. And don't forget, this one is transparent, so we have some reflections here. Because this is a plexiglass. So let me first draw some reflections. Okay, now that I have my lines that tell me where is the reflection, let's make the transparency. And as you can see now, we start having the feeling of transparency. You see? But here I need to have a little bit of shading, blending from dark to light. A little bit more. So I will do it. Huh? There you go. Ciao Vedant! This type of shading, it's blending your gray, Vedant. So now we have this part. No, first we have this one. Because there is some interesting things. Here I pick up the light. Here it's like this one, you see? So we can do the same thing. But this surface here, it's inside. Therefore, it's darker because it's in complete shadow. You see? Now we have to do this part here, because this is the whole side that is in shadow. You're welcome, Vedant, you're welcome. All in shadow. So let's see what happens. Because this part is going to be darker than those surface. Surface 1, surface area 2, and this is a number 3, the dark one. So let's do it. So first of all, it's very simple. The first thing I do, I just put a gray, a medium gray, just to have that thing darker, so that I can start judging, you know. Here the glass also has no reflections, but there is a transparency. Let's not forget that. And then here I have some interesting things happening. You see? Okay, now everything is the same, but now I'm going to work surface by surface, and most of all those details here, because here we have shadow, super shadow, a little bit of the light filtering on the side, because there is always that gap, you know. Okay, let's start. So this has to be darker. And as you can see, I always blend dark, light, always. Now you see, now you really can feel the light, you know, the light on the surface. The shadow, you know, that's very nice. I can immediately see that here I need a little bit of shading. There you go. And I know that here I can make that shading a little bit stronger. Okay. So now let's do this plexiglass part, which is transparent. So all the base here will be darker. But I leave that white gap because that's the highlight on the plexiglass because of the section. So let's do it. First, I will do it in a very medium tone, darker. And I will leave a little bit of light area right in the corner because there is a highlight there too. Those things you have to be very careful because that gives you the real feeling of the three-dimensional Okay, can you see? Now, from here has to be a little bit darker. I will go dark, light. So basically, what am I doing? I'm playing with contrast. Okay. Now here also I have to go a little bit darker. And then there's another thing I have to do. I have to do a little bit of shading, dark, light in this area, coming, starting here and going over there in that direction. No, Vedant, no reference. I just, at the beginning, I don't know if you watched from the beginning, but I had this shape. You know, just a simple box. And then I start cutting, you know, the surface to explain how you can create things, start drawing inside a box. Before we did the same thing with this car sketch. You see? You can see the box there. You know? So, and now I'm making a simple product. All right, so let's do this. Okay, that's it. You see the feeling. Now you can see the transparency and the effect of that transparent glass. Now let's do this part. The socle. This has to be dark because this is really dark. And now that shadow there, and then we'll check again the shading on the last part of the section, this one here. But I need to make a new point because this one is too round. Okay, so let's do it. This is my extra shadow. And then here I have to make this one. Which should be a little bit darker, of that shadow. Okay, you see? Can you feel the three surfaces, 1, 2, and 3? That's nice. Now, a little bit of shading here too. But there is one thing that is not yet as I would like it to be. It's the reflection on the glass. So this one, I'm going to do it a little bit stronger. You see, this way looks more realistic. You see? Now it's better. Now, another thing that we could add are few details to make this product to look even better. For example, when I have to open it, because here it's the reservoir, okay, all the pencil sharpening stuff will go into this box. How do I open? So maybe here I can put a sketch, a design where I put my fingers. Something similar, so that we can also communicate how ergonomically you can use this object. So let's do it. So this is my center line, and I want to use all this to make so I will do it with lines. Those are little details, nothing special. But those details, they transmit the ideas. A little bit of extra shading. You see? So now we have the little detail. Then we can do another thing. Here, for example, where we put our pencil inside, we can imagine another detail, For example, I don't know, something that is like this. Little stylistic details, to make it look more special. And we can make this a little bit darker. Then inside we can put lines, you see? You see, little by little, this thing, it's, hey Goozy, ciao, how are you? Thanks for being with us. So you see, little by little, we are adding some interesting things. And now there is the last one. I will do it here. You know, if I have this type of electric small sharpener, I must have an area where I can put my battery, no? So we should show or give an idea where we put the battery, and maybe the best it's underneath. So we have here a sort of a little plastic part that opens, comes out with those very flat, you know, lithium battery, the one that are like a circles, coming from here. So let's do it. So I just put that line, you see, that's enough. And I can put here a symbol like an arrow. You see? So now I know that this one I can just pull it, and then I will have a sort of a drawer, you know, like this. And inside here, maybe I have, you know, 2 batteries. You see? And this is here. Hey Dakota, sorry, I didn't know that your name was Goozy here. How are you? Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, as you can see, Dak, we are here sketching. I have more time now because I'm on vacation, so I take advantage to, you know, to share online again with some more videos, extra videos. So maybe you like this, Dak, because it's a product. Even if you like to do cars, I know. Okay, now the last thing we have to do is just to make this part round, because I don't like, you know, I don't like that thing, you know, like that. So I would like it to be round. So look how I do it. I modify, I make the radius there. You see? But that's not enough, because you can see that line, and that line gives a feeling that is a sharp angle, but in reality, putting the round lines on the side, I'm saying that the surface, it's a round surface. So I had to put a core in the radius, like that. And now it's round. You see? Now it is round. That's great, man. Don't work too hard on your vacation. Hope you're doing well. Yes, I am. Promise. I'm in fun with all of you. Okay, so you see, now we have sharp angled surfaces, we have a transparent surface, and we have a round surfaces. Thank you, Vedant. It's my pleasure. Now the last thing is the shadow. So I'm applying the shadow lines so that I can make the shadow and then we will be finished. So this is the shadow. Now, the shadow has to be really dark compared to all we did. So I will make now this shadow really dark, but always using shading and blending, because also the shadow is a three-dimensional effect of the object. So let's start. And then I will show you the shadow in the shadow, which is what I'm doing now. Can you see the shadow in the shadow? That's interesting thing, you know, the reflection of the object onto the table in which there is already a shadow. That's something, let's say, sexy. Now the only thing I have to do is to make this a little bit darker. And just clean up this line here. Alright, and our object, I would say that it's finished. Wait, just let's make sure that this is darker, because this one really has to be dark, unless we don't get the right results, the right feeling. Yeah, now it's better. All right. So, dear friends, I think that we finished for today. You know, we have been 1 hour together. Not bad. And I hope that you like what I did. Thank you and bye-bye.